all of us would like to do is leave this world in a better place than how we got it. And when I say better, I don't just mean have more financial resources or have more technological advancements. It also means having more natural resources so that everyone can sustain a healthy and fulfilling life. So today what I want to talk to you, dear Toastmaster and fellow members, is about one of the major threats to our future, which is global warming. I know a lot of people think that it's a hoax. I hope no one in this room thinks so. So I would like to discuss some of the evidences to prove that it's not a hoax, some of the causes for it, the effects, as well as discuss some solutions. So what is global warming? According to Wikipedia, it is a gradual rise in temperature of the Earth, and this can be due to multiple reasons. If you look at the carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere, you can see that since 1950, it has been rising up, and it has been continuously growing, and this is quite alarming. We will get into the details of why this is a problem. So let's start with the evidence. Global temperature rise. This chart here, you can see that the temperature has risen about 0.9 degrees in the last century, and particularly you can see that the last few years it has been quite steep. So the way this is marked is 0 is the years between 1950 to 1980 as the base, and you see how it was less before and much more after that. Next one is the shrinking ice sheet in both Antarctica as well as Greenland. Again, you see that it is coming down, and it's quite steep towards the last few years. This is also such an alarming trend. The next one is sea level rise. The first graph here shows satellite data from 1992 to 2015, and this one shows that the sea level has risen about 200 millimeters since 1900, and the last few years have caused about 100 millimeter of sea level, and this data is actually from the coastal gorge. The next one is ocean acidification. So when the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere becomes more, it actually gets absorbed by the ocean. To an extent, it can be completely absorbed, but the rate at which we have these gases these days, it is not able to completely consume it. And what happens is it combines, the carbon dioxide combines with water and becomes carbonate, and this actually impedes the calcification, and this is extremely dangerous for coral reefs. And you might know that the Great Barrier Reef is in quite danger these days. So what are the causes of global warming? Scientists attribute global warming to something called greenhouse effect. So what is the greenhouse effect? The sun produces energy and light, and that comes into the earth through the atmosphere. Most of this comes to the earth and then gets reflected back. The greenhouse gases in the atmosphere causes almost 90% of this to be absorbed and radiated into different areas. So the more heat we have, the more the earth is getting warmed. So you can reason that it's actually the sun that's causing the warming, and it could be something related to the sun that's actually making it increase. So we have this other chart where it shows solar irradiance, which is how we measure sun's energy, compared to the surface temperature of Earth. So we see that in the last years, that is since 1950, so 1950 is when Industrial Revolution started. That's why most of the major impact is seen after that time. So we see that the solar energy has kind of stayed in the same range, but the temperature of Earth has increased quite a lot. So clearly it is not the sun that is causing the problem. It is the gases, the greenhouse gases, which are nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, and CFC, which is chlorofluorocarbons. So now that we have seen that there is evidence for global warming and we know the cause for it, let's look at the effects. Pictures talk better than words, and you can see these are all the effects. I don't have to explain what this is, but if to go into the detail, I'll just mention these are the effects that is going to happen if we don't do anything about it. So the temperature will continue to rise. It's already getting hot, but it's going to get even more. More droughts and heat waves are going to come. There will be stronger and intense hurricanes. The sea level will rise even more, and this will cause more flooding. Arctic likely to become ice-free. Can you imagine the Arctic being ice-free? So this is a global problem which has different aspects to it. There is science, economics, politics, moral and ethical values. That's why there is no one single solution for it. All the countries or the head of countries are working to find solutions for these. But what is it that we as individuals can do about it? Let's look at some of that. Conserve energy at home. What we can do is switch off lights that we don't need, use AC and heater less, use windows and window panes to make sure we utilize the external available energy. Move to renewable sources of energy, which is solar, for both home as well as cars. Use reusable bags. You might have heard that China and Malaysia have stopped accepting recycling materials from US and other rich countries. So now we have to find our own solutions. Waste not, want not. If you don't need something, whether it's food, clothing, don't buy it and don't waste it. Eat less meat because it uses a lot of water. There are also other crops that does that. So let's use sustainable farming. Stop deforestation. So these are all the things that we can take care of while waiting for the government to fix things. So it's in our hands. Can we save our planet? Thank you.
Thank you, Divya. I lost